Hello, everybody. Welcome to another KMU Live podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Jabruggi, and joining me, as always, Derek Relaford. How's it going, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. Just figuring it out. A week from tomorrow is my big surgery.
Big surgery, getting cracked open.
Uh, oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Where you
Starting
at psychologically with the whole thing?
starting to feel a little bit nervous, but I'm still trying to remind myself that, no matter what happens, God's got it. So
Yeah.
trying to continually remind myself of that. I see Christopher Runner's here, Ellen Dotson's here, Rodney Cox is here.
What's up, Rodney? What up, Alan? What? So as far as like preparations go, like when do you start like getting ready?
Next Wednesday morning. I'm assuming morning. They have to. My paperwork says they'll call me with a time. I go in and
Yeah.
pre-register for surgery, do blood work, and that kind of thing. I'm assuming the blood work is to find out what blood thinner is going to work best with my blood and stuff. Because they were telling me there's one blood thinner that an allergy to it would be doing the reverse of thinning the blood. It would clot it instead of thin it. I'm like, oh,
Okay.
that wouldn't be good. So
What
I'm
kind of
guessing that's
surgeries have you had in the past?
Of course, tonsillectomy when I was 4, appendectomy in 2016, which resulted in another surgery in 2016 to take 7 inches of my colon out because they said that my appendix had a non-cancerous carcinoid tumor that got into my colon a little bit, so they wanted to take 7 inches of my colon out to make sure they got the rest of it. So they did that, and that's been the only surgeries I've had so far up until next week.
Wow.
So,
I had my appendix out when I was 18.
mm,
I was
not
always
a
really scared about having surgery, but whenever by the time I got to wherever they were gonna take it out, I was in so much pain. I didn't care what they did to me. I was like, just do something, man. I was like, I feel bad.
Yeah, my brother had a horrible go around with his appendix. He was about the same age as you, maybe just a year younger when he had his out, but it took the doctor 2 weeks to figure out it was his appendix. In the meantime, he's hurting like a son of a gun.
See, I was in a hospital and we were going on like day 3, and my mom likes to tell people she was a nurse. She wasn't. She was a CNA. But I mean, when you're a CNA, so like there's like a test on the appendix if you push down and it hurts, and if it hurts
Mhm.
more when you let go or something. But like my mom did that on like the first day, and I was in this one hospital for like going on day 3, and they were just doing blood test after blood test. And I think looking back, my dad worked for an oil company. He had really good insurance. So I think they were just kind of like milking it. But the reason I was mad is because I was in pain, and also I couldn't eat anything except for like liquid. So after
Right.
day 3 at 18, I threw a big fit and essentially I don't know if they kicked me out or asked us to leave, but we drove to another town. The doctor came in, did the test where he pushed down on the area, and I yelled, and he let go, and I yelled even louder, and he was like prepping for surgery. And I was like unconscious within 20 minutes.
Oh
And I was
man.
just like, that is what I want to see. I want to see some people moving and getting this stuff, because that was like a horrible 3 days. And the longer you leave those things in there, the more dangerous they get.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
ruptures, you're screwed.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. My brother, it took the doctor 2 weeks for him to decide it was his appendix. Meantime, I'm running around hollering, this doctor needs to pull his head out. It's his appendix. It's his appendix. And like I said, after 2 weeks, they call and say, get him to the hospital. It's his appendix. I'm like, that's what I've been saying. So they get him
Yeah.
to the hospital, get him prepped for surgery. And come to find out, the minute they opened him up, it burst. It
Jeez.
burst the minute they opened him up. Now he's like, um, he's like, if I would have known then what I know now, I'd have sued his butt.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy they let it sit in there, but yeah, it's I don't know. Like we've always said, surgery is pretty routine these days. You definitely got a journey ahead of you as far as
Yeah.
getting back to normal and healing up. But we're gonna make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. Not
So
sure how
you
many weeks
go
I'll be on the
Wednesday morning.
podcast.
You go in.
Wednesday morning is when I pre-register for everything. Thursday morning is the surgery.
Are you gonna try to do a show next week at all?
Yeah.
Like
Oh
on
yeah. I'm
Tuesday?
planning on it. I'm planning on it. Oh yeah.
Just Tuesday night?
Yeah, we'll do it Wednesday night because I'll have to do everything Wednesday morning. I'm hoping it's Wednesday morning. I gotta get a definite time. Like I was gonna.
Oh, so you'll be back home Wednesday night, and then you'll go in
Yeah.
Thursday for the actual surgery. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because they said I'll go to the hospital and pre-register, do blood work, and they how they put it was I'll be asked a bunch of questions and I think that I'm going to think are going to be silly, and then they'll send me home and come back the next morning.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll
So
do a show next week, and then
yeah,
we'll kind of see what happens after that. Might be me and Stephanie or me and Norm, but we will definitely do a show.
okay,
Shout out to everybody who watches every week. We love you. We had a big show last week. We had some guests on.
yeah,
I have not heard any updates on the London case, but it was very
I don't
interesting to
either.
learn about it. And
Yeah,
definitely follow those pages and follow those YouTube channels where those ladies. I think Joe Schmo is kind of who they're. They seem to be doing a lot of episodes with him, and so
yep.
definitely follow that. And yeah, it's a very tragic situation, and it was. We appreciate them stopping by and filling us and the audience in on that. But we're going to get into some cases. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved. We'll be right back after this.
Okay, I'm going to start off with Lori Heimer here. I like Lori. Hopefully, we can get her some resolution in her case. It's an unsolved homicide from June 25th, 2016. She was brutally stabbed in a rural area, Kansas home on June 25th, 2016. She ran her business, Lori's Poodle Patch, from her home. Lori was a licensed breeder of miniature-sized poodles and was licensed through the state of Kansas. KBI was contacted to assist Saline County sheriffs in the investigation. Sorry about my daughter. They responded with agents and their crime scene response team. During the investigation, two vehicles of interest were developed. Vehicle one was said to be an older flatbed pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet, which is described as beat up. That's maroon in color with a white front bumper, silver grille, wide style mirrors on the sides. The driver was described as a man who was 50 years of age or older with salt and pepper hair. Vehicle two was an older style, smaller pickup, possibly a Chevy S10, with a two-tone paint job, dark blue along the top and the bottom, with the light blue running down the middle, a silverback bumper, and a newer blue tailgate that appeared to have minimal damage when compared to the body of the truck. The remainder of the vehicle is described as beat up and scratched up. There may have been two animal cages or crates in the back. The driver of the second vehicle was described as a white male, approximately 40 years of age, with shoulder-length hair and wearing glasses. Investigators say they would like to locate the two vehicles. They would also like to speak to anyone that had any contact or a business appointment with Lori at the time, anytime between June 20th and 25th, 2016. If you have any information regarding the homicide of Lori J. Heimer, please call the Saline County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. There is a reward of $37,500 being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Lori's murder. So if you have anything at all, no matter how small you might think it might be, get it called in anyway and let the sheriff's office or KBI decide whether it's something they may need, because it might very well be. So let's see what we can do to help bring somebody to justice and get closure for Lori's family.
What was the initial reaction like that for this in Salina back then? I think Ricky froze up. Ricky, you there? I think Ricky froze up. We will let him come back in. My question is, though, essentially, I was curious what the initial react, because like anytime something, okay, Ricky just lost power. He'll be back here in just a second. My question's always been like, because like anytime, unfortunately, I've been around some like homicides as far as like in the same town, in the same neighborhood, in the same area, and it seems like there's a lot of rumor mill stuff right away. It's just typical human behavior. It's nothing, nothing bad. We all do it, but it seems like right away there's like a lot of almost too much information comes out to the point where some people get caught, sucked up into it. I've seen people who have had their name or their business mentioned in cases, probably by me. I've probably said people's names I shouldn't have said in the past. I'm just curious, like, was it like that for this case? Like, because it's not right there in Salina. You're a good 30 minutes away from Salina proper where this happened, but it's still kind of a small area. Salina's not a huge city or anything. It's bigger than where I'm from, but it's still not like a metropolis or anything. My guess is it's a small enough area, especially if you consider she was out there in the middle of nowhere, her family. My guess is it's a small enough area that there probably was like a lot of chatter, which again is not always good. Like, people will just say anything, it's just human nature. They'll just say like, oh, I heard this, or I think it's this person, or I think it's this person. So yeah, I was just kind of curious, and when he gets back, I'll ask him if there were any. I don't know if there's ever been any suspects in this case. I don't know if there's ever been any person of interest. I think honestly, though, you have to initially start with.
Do I go to Messenger?
Sorry about that.
There he is. You're good.
Hey,
Yeah, my power glitched and then my modem went resetting, so I don't know what happened.
Are y'all getting the storms, man? We got pounded last night by we were like, Stephanie said we were like in a tornado watch last night.
It's saying on my phone app that it's just partly cloudy.
Huh.
I doubt it.
It's just saying partly cloudy here, so I don't.
I think you need to get
I don't know. Sorry about that, guys.
Tech. That's I've been reading about this new website. It's a Kansas internet provider, Idea Tech. They seem to be pretty good. Well, my question to you was, whenever this happened back then, excuse me, how like whenever stuff like this happens, at first there's usually a ton of rumors and people are like, well, I heard this. Was it how big was the chatter when this happened in Saline County, around Salina area, when this happened?
Hang on.
Oh no.
Okay, there we go. Ask that again.
What was the reaction like when this happened? Was there a lot of chatter about potential suspects or rumors, or what was it like?
I didn't really hear much except for a lot of shock and disbelief. I mean, that was really all I ever heard. I didn't hear anything about possible suspects or, oh, I think this person did it, or I think that. I didn't hear any of that kind of stuff. It's been pretty hush-hush, pretty quiet.
Well, with it being happening in 2016, I would just assume there was a lot of online chatter about it.
You would think. I mean, there's a Reddit and stuff like that out there, and a web sleuth that's out there, but I don't know. I mean, just reading through those kind of things, people, being that it was a stabbing, a lot of people think, stabbing's a more intimate, personal way of murdering somebody. So a lot of folks think maybe somebody close to her might have done it, but that's all just speculation and stuff. So nobody really knows for sure.
I used to be really into websites like Web Sleuths and stuff, and but then like there's been like the Suzanne Johnson case. Like, I feel like me and my mom know quite a bit about that case, because it happened in Elkhart and we studied it and stuff. But like anytime I ever went public with it, you'll have people stop by and be like, well, what about this, and this, and this? And I'm like, not at all related to this at all. And they're like, well, with all these other cases, it was like this. So I feel like sometimes the web sleuth stuff can be obviously if it's a cold case, you'll take any help you can get. But I think sometimes it can be confusing because people are just throwing on ideas or theories based on solely that they've read so much true crime and they've studied so many cases that they're going off like, well, this is what usually happens. And I was like, yeah, but this is a completely, these are all completely to one area. I don't think you can just apply. I think if you know a lot about a case and you have people speculating about it, it kind of makes you upset. You're just like, none of that has anything to do with anything, and I wish you didn't say that in a public forum. Like, no, her brother did. Just random things like, no, her brother didn't do it. Like, obvious, like just random things. Just like, what are you talking about? So I don't know. I think it's dangerous to speculate.
Right. And another Solana case, Haley Davis. and she's missing from here in Salina, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. 19 years old when she went missing. She's now 21. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. She left Salina, Kansas with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st, 2023. Wichita police say that the investigation has led them to believe that Haley may be deceased. And she was 19 when she went missing. She's now 21. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know her whereabouts or the location of her remains, please call Detective Owen at 316-268-4185, or you can email aowen@wichita.gov. To remain anonymous, please call Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111. or KBI at 785-296-4017 or 800-572-7463, or down there on the Wichita Crime Stoppers banner down there. There's that QR code. You can scan that. That'll take you to a form on the Crime Stoppers website. You can submit information that way. And let's see what we can do to get Haley located and back to where she needs to be. And I think I mentioned this before. Reason that Wichita Police Department is on this now is because Salina Police has turned it over to Wichita since she was last known to be going to Wichita. So now Wichita's taking the lead on the case. So that's why Wichita on there instead of Salina.
Yeah. Have you heard anything from her brother at all, or?
No, just every now and then I see him pop in the comments while we're doing the show. But other than that, I haven't talked to him or nothing recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody be sure you're sharing the show out there and letting everybody know we're out here and we're on and live and rocking and rolling here. And this one's another unsolved homicide, Sally Ann Hutton. This is back October 1969 in Iola, Kansas. Friday, October 3rd, 1969, around noon. The call came in to police about a body found about a mile away from what used to be the Allen County Country Club. The body was located in a ditch at the intersection of 2000th Street and North Dakota Road. Upon arrival, police discovered the deceased body of a woman who had been beaten so viciously that her facial features were unrecognizable. She also had other injuries like a broken leg and a back injury, suggesting she may have been run over with a car. Investigators believe that the object she was struck with could have been a tire iron or something similar. They also noticed that the base of a car jack was near her body. There was a lack of blood at the scene, indicating she was murdered somewhere else. Coroner placed her time of death between 10 and 15 hours before she was found, so around 10 p.m. and midnight the night before. There were no signs of sexual assault. Her cause of death was reported as a result of blunt force trauma to the head. The body found was later identified as missing 14-year-old Sally Ann Hutton. Sally was the daughter of Ray and Elsie Hutton and had last been seen Thursday, the night before, leaving an Iola Junior High School football game at Riverside Park. Sally Hutton's case is still at a standstill, but remains open. There were no immediate suspects or arrests, if any at all, known to the public. Her case has just been passed from one retiring detective to the next. If you have any information that might be helpful in solving Sally's murder, please call the Allen County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-365-1400 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. And see what we can do to help bring some justice to Sally and her family. Sorry about my daughter. She's apparently in there having a good time.
Well, it's Wednesday night, man. She's got
I'm telling you.
She's got to do her thing.
Yeah, and this is one we haven't talked about in a while. I figure I would bring her back again. Jamie Hernandez Zubia turned out to be unsolved homicide. 13-year-old Jamie Hernandez Zubia ran away from her foster home in Wathena, Kansas on June 9th, 2012. Prior to her disappearance, Jamie had been prosecuted in juvenile court for drug possession. She was due in court for her sentencing shortly after her disappearance. Jamie never showed up and was never seen by her foster family again. There was unfortunately very little media coverage on Jamie's disappearance, likely due to her runaway status. 3 years later, during the early morning hours of May 30th, 2015, a Kansas City resident called the police to report a shootout on the 2500 block of Ridge Avenue. According to the witness, two vehicles fired shots at each other, and a female passenger in one of the vehicles was killed as a result. The female passenger's body was dumped on the side of the road, and the vehicles drove off before the police arrived. 2 days later, on June 1st, 2015, authorities announced that the slain female was identified as Jamie. The identity of Jamie's killer remains unknown, as does the identity of the driver in the car Jamie was riding in when she was shot. Additionally, Jamie's whereabouts from June 2012 through May 2015 still remain a mystery. Although she was ultimately found in Kansas City, it's unknown where she stayed or how she survived during those 3 years. Investigators said they received a tip that Jamie was in Kansas City back in 2013, but when they followed said lead, they were unable to find her. On the night of July 2nd, 2015, one of the vehicles involved in the crime was found abandoned by the Kansas City Police Department. The vehicle was described as a white late 90s or early 2000s Ford F-150 pickup truck with flared sides, tinted windows, 20-inch chrome rims, and maybe a bullet hole in its tailgate. A touchscreen device was found inside the cab, but it's unclear what was inside the device and if any of it was relevant to Jamie. If you have any information regarding Jamie's murder, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the Wathena, Kansas Police Department at 785-989-4521 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. Or you can go over there to that little QR code, just say it here, and take you to the Kansas City Crime Stoppers website. And again, form on the website to fill out and submit your tips that way. And see if we can't bring some justice to Jamie and her family. It's been a long time overdue, about a little over 10 years now. So
Yeah.
let's see if we can bring some justice to her family. This is a case that just really, because because she was considered a runaway, I don't think it was taken as serious as it should have been possibly. I don't know that to be 100% true, but just speculation on my part, judging from past experience that I've, had over the last 14 years doing this. But, that's why I don't like using the term runaway on flyers, because I think it just puts a stigma on that kid, and it's stigma that shouldn't be there. So they're all important regardless of whether they're a runaway or not. And I've said this before too, even if they are a runaway, they need to really look into whether they ran away or they're on accord, or whether they were talking to somebody on social media, on an app, in a video game system, whatever, that may have talked them into running. So, I think all those things need looked at before they say, oh, they're just a runaway. That's just my opinion.
Agreed, man.
There's just too many predators in this world. Matter of fact, I posted a thing on Kansas Missing last night about a guy that, and I had a flyer up for the two young ladies, the two 12-year-old girls that went missing from Missouri, and they were found safe in Indiana, and the suspect was taken into custody and charged with kidnapping as of right now. Some more charges are more than likely coming, but he was from Arizona originally. So I don't know if he drove up from Arizona to Missouri and then went on to Indiana or what he did, but he's in jail and the girls are back home safe. So that's all that matters, is they're back home safe. So I'm guessing they must have met online. I don't know, but I'm guessing because he was from out of state and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Anyway, we've covered Yolanda Hernandez before, but I wanted to get her on here again because it's been a while, and because I added a new photo to this today, the second from the right-hand photo I just added. I discovered KBI added a photo because initially they didn't have one. They added the one there second to the right. And so I grabbed it and added it to the flyer. But yeah, it's Yolanda Hernandez, missing from Garden City, Kansas on September 10th, 1992. She was 24 when she was missing. She's now 57, 5'3", 135 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. On June 29, 2001, a jawbone was found by a citizen around the Arkansas River, or Arkansas River, I guess, near a bridge in Pierceville, Kansas. FBI tests were concluded in December 2003 to reveal the jawbone was Yolanda's. Her husband, Manuel Hernandez, was charged with her murder in 2002. The Finney County District Judge Thomas Richardson didn't find probable cause to bind him over for arraignment. Manuel was deported to El Salvador after the murder was dismissed because of prior convictions. Manuel cannot be extradited back to the U.S. to be charged with any crimes unless and until new evidence can be found in Yolanda's case. Since the human remains were found, Finney County Sheriff's deputies have searched the banks of the Arkansas River For additional remains, would have found nothing. Garden City Police Captain Mike Utz said if people find what they believe to be human remains, they should leave the remains where they are and contact law enforcement officials immediately. I'm going to add to that: leave the remains where they are and don't touch them. And just leave them where they are. Take a shot of it with your cell phone or whatever, but don't touch them, and then get a hold of police or sheriff's office. But if you have any information regarding Alonzo's disappearance, please call Crime Stoppers at 620-275-7807. Garden City Police Department at 620-276-1300. Or the Finney County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-272-3700. Or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. And see what we can do to help close this case and see if we can bring enough to maybe bring some charges and have him extradited back this way.
Wow.
Yep. Very crazy case. It's interesting they still have her classified as missing even though they found a jawbone. I'm not quite understanding that, but I guess it is what it is.
I've always been curious about a lot of stuff like that, but yeah.
Yep. Another Salina case. Anthony Siniscali, missing from Salina, Kansas since August 17, 1987, was 36 when he was missing. He would now be 74. He's 5'9", 160 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was last seen by his family at Jerry Abbey Park in Salina, Kansas on August 17, 1987. His wife saw him driving east on his way home from work at Beach Aircraft in Salina. She followed him to the park. He stopped near the restrooms and spoke to her. He was surprised to see her and told her he was not feeling well. Anthony's wife tried to convince him to let her drive him home, but he refused. She left him to go get help from her brother, and when Anthony's wife returned to the park, he was gone. His car was still parked by the restrooms, locked with all of his belongings inside, including his lunch. He did not show up for work the next day, and he's never been heard from again. Anthony's social security number, credit card, and bank accounts have not been used. He has not been contacted by any of his family. He was devoted to his 2 children, and it's uncharacteristic of him to leave without warning. He's originally from New York, where his parents, who are Italian immigrants, live. He'd been living in Salina for about 9 years prior to his disappearance. Anthony's family fear he became homeless. They distributed missing person flyers in New York and in Florida, where his sister lived, but he was never found. His case does remain unsolved. If you have any information regarding Anthony's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And let's see what we can do to get Anthony located and back home to his family. Queenie's asking, I'm guessing Queenie's asking here in Kansas City, Missouri, or no, she's asking or saying Kansas City, Missouri, where the 2 12-year-olds went missing, but yeah. And you were just mentioning this young lady earlier. Suzanne Johnson, another unsolved homicide, March 4th, 1971. Suzanne Johnson, 14, was reported missing from her home in Elkhart, Kansas on March 4th, 1971. Suzanne's partial disrobed body was found 15 days later on March 19th, 1971, northwest of Elkhart, Kansas, by a volunteer searcher about 30 minutes after a large-scale search was launched to look for clues in her disappearance. Suzanne's murder remains unsolved. If you have any information regarding Suzanne's death, please call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463 and see what we can do to bring justice to Suzanne and her family.
Yeah. Long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got a couple more segments. You're watching Kansas Missing Us All. We'll be right back after this.
I guess Queenie was saying she was just saying she's here. Okay, well, hi, Queenie. Glad you're here. And I see Brina jumped in and Raynetta's here. Hi, guys. Hi, Esther. Hi, Scott. All right. And this one's Mania Ellis. Missing from here in town since September 9th of this year. She's 17, 5'5", 140 pounds, black hair that was last known to be dyed blonde and brown eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Manaya's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department, 785-826-7210, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And so we can do to get Manaya located and back to where she needs to be. Selenia Sanderson, missing from El Dorado, Kansas since September 21st, 2025. She's 16, 5'1", 110 pounds, black hair, blue eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Selenia's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the El Dorado, Kansas Police Department at 316-321-9120 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get Selenia located and back to where she needs to be.
That's just like south of Wichita, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right in that general area. Pretty
I went
close.
there one time.
Yeah. And Kamara Kellerman, missing from Topeka, Kansas since September 18th, 2025. 17 years old, 5'2", 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She's driving an unknown color and year Chrysler 300. Again, she's 17, 5'2", 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. And she does have a tattoo on her chest. I'm trying to remember what the date was, but you can see it in the left-hand picture right there. But she does have that tattoo there. If you have any information regarding Kamara's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9200 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Kamara located and back to where she needs to be. And this is Hillary Hillibert. We've covered her quite frequently, and she's missing again from Lawrence, Kansas, on September 12th, 2025. She's 16, 5'7" to 5'8", 130 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Again, you can see she's got a tattoo on her chest as well, very similar to that of Kamara's, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah, and her tattoo is of X, or basically 12/2. 2019 is what it is in Roman numerals, is what it is on her tattoo there. And she does have some nose piercings. And it looks like she has a faint heart tattoo underneath her right eye right there. You can see it in that far left-hand picture there. And people were questioning on the outer pictures. I've seen people comment about looking like she scared of something or whatever. And actually, those pictures were screenshots out of a video is what those were that she was singing to a song is what she was doing. And these are just screenshots from that video is what that was. But if you have any information regarding Hillary's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Lawrence, Kansas Police Department at 785-832-7509 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. So we can do get Hillary located and back to where she needs to be.
Excuse me.
And I believe what I was told that in the corner of her lower left side of her mouth is a sore.
Okay.
Like maybe a cold sore or something like that. And this is one I just did today, Emery Hawk. Missing from Wichita, Kansas since September 24th, 2025. He's 15, 6'2", 208 pounds, dark brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen at school. He does have some intellectual disabilities and does not have his needed medication. And he's 15, he's 6'2", weighs 208 pounds, has dark brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Emery's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And so we can do to get Emery located and back to where he needs to be. And it's an interesting picture of him because it's it's like he shaved his beard down and just left like a chin strap looking thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Never quite seen that before.
Did we ever do any Ryan Larson updates? Did you ever hear any Ryan Larson updates?
I have not.
Did we cover him recently?
It's been a little while since we have covered him. I can pull his flyer if you want me to pull it here after a bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna Google.
Let me do it in the next segment.
Let me Google Ryan Larson and see if there's any updates here. There's an update from September 5th. Says Nebraska Supreme Court revives lawsuit in Ryan Larson disappearance. Mother Tammy Larson sued the Papillion La Vista School District after son with special needs walked away from school. Let me pull this flyer real fast so we have it on here. So folks,
I did think that was fishy. That I don't know if he's special needs. You think that somebody keep an eye on him?
You would think. His case was interesting because he's, from what they're saying, he was researching how to avoid not being seen by police and stuff like that. And it's just really weird. Okay, should we go ahead and bridge the two segments since Emory was the last one and bridge it to the out of state? Or should we just jump right into Larson?
Yeah, we can just jump right into the out of states and we can just
okay.
Yeah, we can go straight into Larson. There you
go. Okay. And let me grab his flyer. I'll cover his flyer real quick here and then we will go over this article that I've been reading here. Because this is something I haven't seen before, so should be interesting. Okay. Hold on. Open. There you go. Don't be afraid, computer. Yeah, this is Ryan Larson, missing out of La Vista, Nebraska since May 17, 2021. 11 when he went missing. He'd now be 16. 5'8", 125 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He walked out of his La Vista Elementary School on 78th and Terry Drive in La Vista Monday about noon. Last confirmed sighting of Ryan was about 2 o'clock on that same Monday. He's autistic and is considered high functioning. Prior to his disappearance, Ryan had done searches regarding hiding from the police, hiding underground, and how to avoid being spotted. And when he went missing, he was 11. He's now 16, 5'8", 125 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. Last known to be wearing a black jacket, blue jeans, an Old Navy shirt, had a black polka dotted umbrella. He did have a backpack, but it's not known if he had supplies or just books and normal school supplies. His umbrella was located next to a dumpster in his complex. Law enforcement is now considering foul play in Ryan's disappearance. Police are asking if you see Ryan, do not approach him. Instead, follow him at a safe distance and call 911 immediately. Or call the La Vista, Nebraska Police Department at 402-331-1582. And let me get back into this update here a little bit here and see what this is all about. Nebraska Supreme Court has revived a lawsuit against the Papillion La Vista School District regarding a missing student. On May 17, 2021, 11-year-old Ryan Larson was left unattended at La Vista West Elementary School and walked out the front door. His mother, Tammy Larson, has said that no one made any immediate attempt to get him. It was the fourth time that school year he had done so, but this time he was never seen again. His mother later filed a lawsuit against Papillion La Vista Community Schools, claiming negligence, among other things. A lower court dismissed the complaint, which was seeking an unspecified amount of money as well as punitive damages. But on Friday, the state Supreme Court overruled that decision and sent the case back for further proceedings. The family's attorney emailed a statement for First Alert 6 on Friday, which is the website I'm looking at here. Nebraska Supreme Court has made the right and just decision today. The Larson family will continue to seek answers and to hold the school district accountable to obtain justice for Ryan. And they do have the court documents on their website as well. And I'll have to peruse those after a while because there's a lot of paperwork to go through there. Yeah, that's the umbrella was found next to a dumpster in the complex, which led to a pretty good sized search at a landfill with nothing found at the landfill. Initially, they thought, being that the umbrella was by the dumpster, that maybe he climbed into it to hide, and the trash was then picked up and he was taken off to the landfill. But like I said, they searched the landfill and found nothing. So he is still missing.
That is wild.
Yeah. I find those searches very interesting for an 11-year-old kid hiding from the police, hiding underground, and how to avoid being spotted. Of course, he was high functioning autistic, and I don't know. But yeah, the outfit he was last seen wearing is the two far right hand pictures on the flyer. So, yeah. Hopefully, we can help get him located and back home. It's been 4 years, almost 4.5 years. So, getting close to it. November will be 4.5 years. But yeah.
Pretty interesting case. I was curious if there was an update because I knew that there was a lot of movement, but I knew that we hadn't heard anything new. But tonight we're definitely learning some new stuff about that.
Let me see if there's anything else I can spot here. There is no, that seems to be the most recent update. Is that they're reviving the lawsuit against the school district. So, see what the school will do in that instance. I don't know. Interesting case, though.
If my kid went missing from school.
I would freak out if my kid went missing from school. All right. This is Dana Bruce, missing from Sedalia, Missouri. Since October 4th, 2008, was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 40, 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man Dana was with that night. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he arrived there, or after he was arrested there, on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. Told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush, toothbrush. She doesn't have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. And she was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 40, 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends with red highlights, and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front, and blue jeans. Dana had a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She's blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422 or private investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070. And let's see what we can do to help get Dana brought home and back home to her family where she needs to be. Again, it's been 17 years coming up here in just a little while, and we need to get her found. And her aunt Ellen is saying, thank you for sharing Dana's flyer every week, and you're very welcome, Ellen. I keep hoping we'll get somebody to finally speak up and, provide the information that's needed to bring her home. It's very, very long overdue. Okay, we kind of touched on him a little bit when we were talking with London's mom and aunt last week. This is Jeremiah Demetrius Moneta, missing from Ponca City, Oklahoma since January 17, 2025. He's 22 when he went missing. He's now 23, 5'9", 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. His bank account has not been touched, and his apartment showed no signs of disturbance. His cell phone was found in somebody else's possession, and his asthma inhaler was found on a stranger's porch. His family says that he never leaves his inhaler behind. When he went missing, he was 22. He's now 23, 5'9", weighs 150 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. He does have some facial hair, and he has a Playboy bunny tattoo on his shoulder blade. He was last seen wearing a Kansas City Chiefs hoodie, jeans, and work boots. If you have any information regarding Jeremiah's disappearance, so you know of his whereabouts, please call the Ponca City, Oklahoma Police Department at 580-767-0370 or call the anonymous tip line at 580-762-5100. Anyone wishing to send an anonymous tip can do so at the www.tipsubmit.com /webtips.aspx !agency ID equals 496. Fill out the tip sheet and send the information. You can also text Ponca City Police Department plus your messages to crimes 274637 from your cell phone. If you want to email your information, you can send it to Crime Stoppers at poncacityoK.gov. So there's all that information for you there. And let's see what we can do to get Jeremiah located and back home to where he needs to be.
I know quite a few people in the Ponca City area. It must be pretty big.
Cool. Yeah, it's just interesting. Somebody else had his cell phone, and his asthma inhaler was found on somebody's porch.
Yeah.
Somebody that he didn't know, even stranger.
Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah. And this is Lola Fogel, missing out of Kansas City, Missouri since September 21st, 2025. 17 years old, 5'5", 148 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. Last seen near 55th and Cambridge in Kansas City. She has a medical condition that does require medical treatment. And she's 17, 5'5", 148 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. She was last seen wearing a navy blue hoodie, gray pants, pink eyeglasses. And this is how Kansas City, Missouri Police Department put it on their Facebook: shoes. And not whether or not, we don't know whether they were tennis shoes. We don't know whether they were slides. We don't know whether they were boots. We don't know nothing, just shoes.
Shoes.
Yeah. So if you have information regarding Lola's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department at 816-234-5043 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422. And see what we can do to get Lola located and back to where she needs to be so they can make sure she's okay since she's needing medical treatment. So we can do to get her located.
Yeah.
Doggone it. Just going to pull up Kansas City, Missouri Police Department's Facebook real fast and see if there's any updates on her. If I can get my phone to cooperate with me here since the power glitch. Oh, no. They did update. She's been located safely. So, good
Lola?
deal. Yeah, Lola's been located safely according to Kansas City, Missouri, their Facebook page. That's good.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, okay. This is Mariah Lee Cockshell, and we've covered her before, but I added a couple new photos. The one where she's wearing the pink sweatshirt and black pants and the tattoo. Those are just recently released from Gladstone, Missouri Police Department, so I wanted to add those. But she's missing from Gladstone, Missouri since March 21st of this year. She's 26, 5'1", 150 pounds, black hair, hazel eyes. Last known location was in the area of 54th and Prospect around 2 o'clock in the morning on March 22nd, 2025. She was reported missing on March 24th, 2025. And she's 26, 5'1", 150 pounds, black hair, hazel eyes. At the time of her disappearance, she was reported to have been wearing a pink sweatshirt and black scrub pants. She has a full arm tattoo on her left arm, which, again, I put those pictures up there, courtesy of Gladstone, Missouri Police Department's Facebook. If you have any information regarding Mariah's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Gladstone, Missouri Police Department at 816-436-3500 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422, or you can scan that Say It Here QR with your phone and it'll take you to the form on the website and you can fill out information that way. And see what we can do to get Mariah located and back to where she needs to be. It's been quite a while now, March of this year. So let's see what we can do to help get her located.
Alrighty. I think that's it.
There should be one more.
Let me see. This one?
Yep, that one there.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
That was one that I've been working on the last few days. It's out of Nebraska as well. It's called the Head on Rainbow Road. The skull was discovered on March 14, 2023. I'm trying to remember by who, but it was discovered on North 216th Street and Rainbow Road, Douglas County, Nebraska, closer to the North 216th Street than Rainbow Road, but they decided to go with the Head on Rainbow Road. It was determined it was a male between 15 and 50, likely on the higher end of the age range, Caucasian, missing tooth pre-death on the left lower jaw between molars and canine, number 20 tooth, evidence of poor dental health and malnutrition. That's really all they put out on this. If you have any information that could help identify the skull, please call the Douglas County, Nebraska Sheriff's Office at 402-444-6000 or email your information to dcsotips@douglascounty-ne.gov. And I did post this flyer on Kansas Missing, and in the comments there's a link that will take you to a video that the Sheriff's Department did where the sheriff and two other individuals are discussing the Head on Rainbow Road and what they've done so far in the investigation and everything like that. I did watch the video. It's pretty informative. So if anybody wants to check that out, go check it out. It's pretty cool.
I will check it out, man. I'm a YouTube junkie.
Yep. It's actually a little bit different type of flyer because their original flyer was black and I didn't really want to change it. So I just stayed in black and worked it around it.
It looks really good. It did look like a Ricky Tibruggy flyer, so I didn't think it was a flyer.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I had fun doing that one. Let's see what we can do to help get this skull identified. It's interesting how I do remember one other little detail they were talking about that they did a search where that skull was found, and law enforcement did not find any other bones in the vicinity, so they're surmising an animal picked it up from somewhere and carried it and dropped it at that location where it was found.
It seems like there's been quite a few skulls in our area.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yep. So hopefully we can get it located, help figure out who this person is. I think it's a male between 15 and 50, closer to the 50 end of the scale than the 15 end of the scale. So see what we can do to help out there. But yeah, I got one more show before my surgery next week, and then Derek said him and Stephanie or him and Norm will take the helm while I'm recouping. Hopefully it won't be too long and I'll be back. We'll see. Yeah. Now that it's just barely a week away, I'm starting to feel nerves a little bit, but I'm still, I keep reminding myself, whatever happens, God's got me either way. So I'm in good hands either way, and I'm pretty confident with the surgeons because they've got a lot of years of experience doing this, and I'm told they're really, really, really good surgeons. So see how that goes, but. And, don't forget the GoFundMe is still active. There's a pinned post at the top of Kansas Missing that's got the link. Also have it on my personal Facebook also as well. If anybody's still wanting to donate to it, it's still active. Thank you to everybody that's donated so far, and thank you to anybody that's considering it. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. It's going to help take care of expenses while I'm off work, and it's the HR gal at work told me she's got me scheduled to be off 12 weeks. So it'll be a while before I go back to work. Yeah. So any and all help will be greatly, greatly appreciated. And there's the URL down there on the scroller at the bottom as well. So I just want to say thank you for everybody for joining us tonight and going over these cases. And I did add a few more unsolved homicides this week. I just felt like we needed to bring some attention to a few of those. So thank you guys for joining us. And with that, I just want to say, Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us tonight while we go over these unsolved homicides and missing persons, and just pray that, we're making a difference getting these cases out there, and somebody will find it in their heart to release information that they have that'll help bring somebody home or bring somebody to justice. Again, be with everybody in my absence, and hope everything with the show goes well in my absence next week after the next show next week. And as always, I've been praying for the surgery to go smooth, and then I make a very quick recovery so I can get back to work, get back to Kansas Missing, get back to being a dad. Just everybody just want to pray these things in Jesus' name, and everybody stay safe. God bless. Have a good night. Amen.
Amen.